It's the Poojie Podcast, proudly sponsored by Cimarron Golf Club. What is going on, Pooj crew? Thank you for being here for episode 92 of the Poojie Podcast. Excited to be here today with some great guests, as always, joining the panel to discuss the NBA playoffs. We're going to take you through the matchups, give our thoughts on what's going on in the NBA world, and just honestly have some fun with it. We'll get into our predictions for what we think's going to happen, maybe some storylines, who knows. But first and foremost, thank you to our sponsors, Cimarron Golf Club, as always, right there on County Road 210 in St. Johns County, as well as Strings Sports Brewery and Shores Pub. Mandarin was just at Shores last weekend and had a great time. But beautiful Tuesday morning to everyone. Hope you guys have enjoyed the NHL playoffs. Some crazy stuff going on there. Go check out episode 90 if you have not already. We broke down the NHL playoffs. And go listen to episode 91. Ken Babby, owner of the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp, jumped on, actually shed some light on the process of going into AAA. That was actually a really cool segment, and talking about his experience with Derek Jeter on the Zoom call when they got the call into AAA. So go check out episode 91 as well. Follow us on all social media platforms and subscribe and like us on YouTube or your preferred podcast streaming platform. But let's get into it, guys. I want to thank you both for being here. We got Jacob and Zach on. We'll have Richie on a little bit later, but want to jump into this real quick. I haven't been following the NBA too closely, so Zach, thank you first and foremost for being here.
Yeah. I'm here, man. I'm here ready to talk NBA basketball. I know last year we had the bubble going on. I think I made a solid prediction telling you guys that nobody sleep on the Miami Heat. They made it to the finals last year. Unfortunately, we lost to the Lakers. But, I mean, if we were going to lose to anybody, you guys know my man is LeBron James. So happy we lose to him. But we're happy for another year.
I'm happy you said that about LeBron. What are your thoughts on the whole injury and the eye situation and just getting a little floppy out there? I don't know. Wait, Zach, I can't hear you. You're good. Jacob, what are your thoughts while Zach reconnects to audio on the LeBron James injury situation? I just want to put this out there. Mets player hit in the face, can't remember his name, on the ground for 37 seconds due to an injury, 94-mile-an-hour fastball, right to the face, on the ground for 37 seconds. LeBron James poked in the eye, on the ground for 80 seconds.
You know,
is there a little bit of an issue here with the injuries?
I don't. My thing with, I love LeBron James. I've always kind of rooted for LeBron. If my team, the Orlando Magic, wasn't competing, and guess what? That's been a lot. So when LeBron had the whole eye thing, I think that was kind of, obviously a lot of players exaggerate these injuries nowadays. But what really was like the kicker is in the post-game conference, he says, is like, I saw 3 baskets and I just aimed for the middle one. And it's almost like he's trying to build up more of the legend. And I feel like as the player, you're not the one that's supposed to do that. You're supposed to let somebody else, the media, do that. And it's like he's putting the narrative out there for it to be something, maybe one day down, years later, we talk about.
It's kind of like giving yourself your own nickname, right? You just don't do it. You just got to let it happen. Zach, what about you, man?
Oh, my God. Look, you know what it is? It's all these fans that just don't want to give up the GOAT title to LeBron, that now they can't even nitpick his basketball game. They have to nitpick that he's not as tough as the guys were back in the day. Like every old man in America says about people our age. We're not as tough. We're not as gritty as the guys back in the day. Shut up. This dude is the best player. He was on the ground for a while. You know what? The guy that got hit in the face, props to him. All right? Props to him. I would have laid on the floor for 3 minutes. Probably would have cried. Would never step a foot inside that batter's box again. Props to him. Hockey players, props to them. LeBron James, you got poked in the eye. I would have been down there for 2 minutes. So 80 seconds to me, not a big deal.
Yeah, and you know what? Verben has said it before about soccer. People give players crap in soccer. I mean, you're running up and down the court pretty constantly. You're going to take that chance to get that rest and that breather. In other sports outside of hockey and outside of soccer, every 10, 15 seconds, you're going to have a chance to cool down and relax. and just catch a breather. LeBron's not young anymore. He's still good, but I'm assuming it's got to be catching up to him. Do we think Father Time might be catching up to LeBron?
I think 100% it is. I definitely think it is catching up to him, and I don't think people are recognizing that. That I think they're like, oh man, such prime LeBron. Like he might still be in. He's on the decline of his prime, but still one of the best players in the NBA. I would say top 3 player in the NBA right now. I would take him for the playoffs as a top 3 player, but yeah, I definitely think he is getting old. You do see it. And he also, something people got to realize, the dude just came off an ankle injury. It's his first injury. He has this second game back from injury after missing months. So it's something. Just have this expectation from LeBron, and I guess he's not hitting it right now. But like I said, he just came back from injury, so it might take some time.
Here's the thing, though. Like,
go for it, Jacob.
Basketball outside of the NBA, it's one of those sports that you see old guys play all the time, and they're usually beating up on the young guys because it's not always about athleticism. It's about your acumen and your IQ. And even if LeBron is starting to slow down a little bit athletically, he's going to be dominant still for years because he's just that much smarter than most NBA players. So,
hey, I want to bring this up real quick. Sorry, Jacob. Finish your thought. I'm sorry.
No, that was it. It's just like it's not like he's going to slow down and become, crap the next year. He's going to
the crazy thing is middle tier LeBron is still above average everyone else, at least is what it feels like. So LeBron can lose a step or two and he's still eons ahead of a lot of the league. So I don't think that's a thing. But talking about old guys beating up on young guys, Zach, we got to talk about this. We were texting. Phil Mickelson winning. I wasn't even planning to talk golf here, but Phil Mickelson winning the PGA Championship over Brooks Koepka, Louis Oosthuizen, and many more. Are we seeing a shift in golf? Is this going to be the light in golf that old people can win, old guys can win, or is this an anomaly?
No, I definitely think this was such a big thing, I think, for golf. Such a big thing because I think a huge question mark that people had was like somebody like Tiger. Will he catch up to Jack Nicklaus? And now I feel like people will see what Phil Mickelson just did and think, yeah, he can. If Phil did it at 50, why can't Tiger do it at 50? And then you have other guys, young guys like Brooks Koepka. He's got, I think, 4 majors at the age of 31. He's 19 years younger than Phil Mickelson. Like, what could he possibly do now in those 18 years? And it just shows, like, and Phil Mickelson is one of the greatest of all time. Like, could possibly go down as a top 10 golfer, top 15 probably. So if you're all these young guys that are coming up that have been playing for so long, they may be able to reach that major championship number of like 18 possibly. I know it's crazy to think, but there's so many years. It just shows that with hard work and everything at 50, you could still do it. Somebody did it. Why can't you be the person to do it? Especially the top talents.
And I've never thought no one's going to reach that record because of talent drop off. Honestly, I think a lot of the guys collectively, talent wise, it's obviously a better era of golf than when Tiger was playing as far as talent top to bottom. Any given week, there's probably 25 to 30 people that are competing or that you could pick to win. So I think Tiger was playing against worse talent, but this is the talent that Tiger created. These are the guys that picked up the golf clubs because of Tiger Woods, similar to the NBA of players, kids picking up the basketball because of Michael Jordan and because of those guys. So we're seeing almost the best era of sports across the board because of dominant athletes like Serena Williams in tennis, like Tiger Woods in golf, like Michael Jordan in basketball. I think it's impressive mostly because of who Phil beat. Not that Phil won per se. This is the deepest course in golf or deepest field in golf. And he went out there and smoked them. It wasn't a simple win. He won handedly.
Yeah. And you also, that course is brutal with the amount of wind they had. So this is, I mean, you look on the I don't remember what hole it was, maybe the 16th or the 17th on the last day. He had the longest drive at 50, outdrove Bryson DeChambeau. Like that was just incredible to me. That I outdrove all these young guys, and it really just shows, man. Like if you put in the hard work, guys like Tom Brady that we see still doing it at the age he's doing it. LeBron, like we were just talking about it, doing it at 36. Like I know he's nowhere near. I mean, Tom Brady at 43 and Phil at 50, but I mean, 36. Michael Jordan was retired at 36. Like people don't realize that he was retired at 36. He came back, played the 2 years with Washington, but LeBron looks like he's still like, he's not looking right now like top tier LeBron, but before that injury, he was MVP LeBron, and he's looking like he could still play another 5 years. So
crazy. And it's crazy. It's crazy to think Phil Mickelson is in the best shape of his golf career right now, probably since he was 25 to 28. You look at LeBron James from his rookie season up until now, he's progressively gotten stronger, more physical. And we talk a lot about penalties and fouls in the NBA. Like those fouls that LeBron is taking on camera, they look wimpy. They look simple. But you have another grown man hacking a physical specimen created by who knows what, and he's still getting it done. He's going up against some crazy, strong players. Jacob, I want to bring you in here. I know you're a three-point shooting guy. You like staying behind the arc. I don't blame you. I'm there as well. I was never a rebounder or a defensive specimen in my day. Three-pointers all the way. Steph Curry bows out in the play-in game against the Memphis Grizzlies. Is the NBA playoffs worse off because Steph Curry is not in it?
I mean, yeah, he's a huge star. I shouldn't even say big. That's undermining him. He's had a great season, coming back from his injury. I think we were watching that game at your house, and you said, yeah, nobody wants the Grizzlies to win because we want Steph in the playoffs. I mean, having Steph against LeBron, that what got like 5 million like viewership or whatever, like that was great, and it was just a playoff game or a play-in game. So I think if Steph Curry would have been in a 7-game series and been able to like try to go win 4 games against somebody, it would have just been so much more entertaining. But I think what Dylan Brooks guarded him extremely well. It looks like, and they ultimately won. But yeah, like the Memphis Grizzlies, they're a good team, but when you have star power versus a solid team, it's like you just want to see a star. Like wait until they get Klay Thompson back, right?
Mm-hmm. And we talked about it too. You get Klay Thompson back. You still have Draymond Green. Now you have Andrew Wiggins, and you still have James Wiseman, who can become something great as well. Like the Warriors, this is not the tail end of their dynasty. I almost feel like this is like a little bit of a hiccup. Go for it, Zach.
The Warriors also, I don't think people realize they have the Minnesota Timberwolves first-round pick, and the Timberwolves from the D'Angelo Russell, go T-Wolves, from the D'Angelo Russell trade. So, and I think that's right now like projected to be a number 7 overall pick. I checked a mock draft today, and they had him drafting Scotty Barnes from FSU, who is a solid 3-and-D guy that would be able to come in. He's got the body type for the NBA. The Warriors would be a perfect landing spot for him. He wouldn't have to do anything in his first year, like offensively. Just go in there, play that defense that you play, put bodies on people. You come off the bench and give the points off the bench like you're known to do. And he comes off the bench at FSU too, which is crazy. And he's going to be a top 10 pick. But yeah, it just shows. And the Warriors have positioned themselves very well after the departure of Kevin Durant.
Mm-hmm. And it's like, think about this though, like the more you kept talking about that, Zach, I was thinking, man, like for years we were watching Steph against LeBron in the finals, and Steph and Klay Thompson and Draymond Green against LeBron and company in the finals, and here we are watching them compete as a 7 and 8 seed for a play-in game. I think that's wild, and like right now that's just because of the circumstance, but like next year those two could be like top 3 seeds easy.
And what scares me, and we'll move off of this, but what scares me about that is I don't want to see it becoming a trend that because 8 teams make it out of every conference, teams are okay coasting to the playoffs or providing extra rest. I get it. They might need it. There might be serious injuries, but seeing the Lakers make it as the 7 seed, or even if the Warriors had made it as an 8 seed, I know that was legitimately because of injury. Like, that team would have been an 8 seed if they made it. It wasn't like they were like resting, but I don't want to see it become a trend where you start seeing the Atlanta Hawks as a 2 seed because they're playing hardcore all the way to the end, when really the Nets and the Sixers are coming out of the East and actually the best teams. I just don't want to see the playoffs lopsided because of rest, right?
Yeah, no, for sure. I think the NBA, that's like the issue they have right now. It's how do we make the regular season count more, which that's what the play-in tournament was for. People were kind of wondering why do you need 2 more games after a 72-game season to determine who's in the playoffs or not? But it genuinely made the regular season matter, specifically for those teams on the outside and the teams on the inside. Like, teams were fighting for that play-in spot at the end that normally would have been just falling off for the past month to get a better draft position. And then teams that were at the 5, 6, 7, 8 seeds were trying to fight to get into those seeds so they don't have to worry about the play-in tournament. So I definitely think the play-in tournament did its job. Yeah, we had the first game where it was like the Grizzlies versus Spurs. Nobody really liked that game. I think people really liked it was Celtics versus I can't remember who they played.
Wizards. Celtics Wizards.
Wizards. I thought that was a great matchup. You got Bradley Beal and Russell Westbrook versus Jason Tatum, and then you got for the 9 and 10 was the Young team too. I don't even remember the playing tournament from the East, but whatever. Oh, the Charlotte Hornets. I know we're in it too. So, yeah, I just thought they really did a really good job with the play-in tournament. I've always said one thing they could possibly do with the NBA playoffs is start making it like the NFL playoffs, where the 1, 2, 3 seeds are the division winners. The 4, 5, 6 seed are second place in each division, and then the 7 and 8 would be the next best teams. I think that would be a solid way to make the regular season count. It would make your division count, and it would make teams not want to be that 8 seed. When even though they might have a great record, they'd have to move up. That would make the regular season count so much more.
Yeah, I think, the sport, the NBA, I feel like has evolved probably the most out of any sport over the last decade or so, as far as adapting to talent, adapting to fans, becoming more fan friendly. I would like to see them do something like you just mentioned, where they do make the regular season matter that much more. I know right now they do top 8 overall in each conference, so the divisions are kind of out the window. It doesn't, we've seen one division send 1 team to the playoffs before, and one division send 4 teams. So it's kind of all messy when it comes to that. But let's get into it. We just talked about Memphis a little bit. They come out and beat Utah in game 1. So we're talking about Memphis, beating the Spurs and then beating the Warriors. Well, they say, well, don't laugh at us just yet. We'll come out and we'll beat the number 1 seed at Jazz in the West. Is that a one-off fluke here between Utah and Memphis, or is that a series that we actually need to keep our eye on?
What you think?
I mean, I personally, with the Jazz didn't have Donovan Mitchell this first game, huge important player to them. I really like the way Memphis came out and played Utah. But I don't see them winning the series. I think this might have been a one. Maybe they take another one at home. But I don't see them winning it. I still think they're a young team. I think they're a promising team for the future. I kind of see them in the same realm of it's a little different for the Wizards, where the Wizards are a promising team, but they don't have young talent. I mean, they have young talent with the 2 superstars, where Memphis is just like young guys that have the ability to become superstars. So they're just both right there. I think the Wizards, like even the Wizards, they played the 76ers so well the other night. Could definitely see them taking a game, but they're not going to win that series. But they might take a game and maybe make the other ones close too. So, with Memphis, I definitely see Utah advancing. Also, same with the Wizards and the 76ers and those 1 and 8 seeds.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be great to be able to see the 1 versus 8 matchups actually be good matchups and not just 4-0 sweeps. It'd make it more fun for the NBA. Jacob, are you going to go with Utah as well in this one? I'm filling out the bracket on my end so we can kind of get down into the Final Four and everything.
I mean, Zach started off with, no Donovan Mitchell, and that's a big piece. And so it'll be interesting to see once he's in game 2 how it plays out. I know that there was I guess he was kind of upset that they sat him. So he's definitely got a little bit of fire and some momentum going into this game too, that he's fired up to play. So I think Zach's right. I think Utah has it. How many times have the Magic won the first game of the series, and that means nothing. So
yeah, right. And that's why it's a series. That's exactly why it's a series. Magic
the best team will win.
Magic beat the Bucks last year, game 1. I remember
they beat Toronto the first game the year prior when they won the championship.
Yeah. So we all have to me. We all have Utah coming out of that one. I'm not even going to put game numbers on it because I feel like that's difficult to predict in the NBA. Let's go to the Clippers Mavericks. Another one where the upset got pulled off. The 5 seed Mavericks take out the Clippers. And am I wrong in saying that the Clippers might be that pretender type team just to infinity? Like it doesn't seem like they, for the last 2 or 3 years, like I feel like they should have been good for the last 5 years, and they just haven't become good for the last 5 years.
Man, I don't know. I think I think the problem with the Clippers is that they just, I mean, you got to play whoever you get dealt with in the playoffs. Like we all know that you're gonna have to be the best. You got to beat the best. But dude, playing the Mavs that first round is just so tough, and they lost to the Mavs last year. That might be their kryptonite. I think I have in this series, I have the Mavericks winning this series. I've had it from the beginning. I had the Mavericks winning game 1. I just don't see the. I mean, I think this game. I think the series could go 7 games easily, and for all we know, the Clippers will win. But the Mavs love Luka. I trust Luka with the ball. It's more going to be, will the other guys step up? I do think on paper there's have a better team, but Luka's just Luka. It's insane. This guy, I don't know what it is. He's one of the most fun players, in my opinion, to watch in the big game of basketball right now. He's just like such a good player.
I feel the same way about Luka, and I think it's a pretty cool situation down there in Dallas where they just seem to always have these dominant overseas guys, going from Dirk to they, now they have Kristaps too, obviously by way of New York, right? Is that correct or opposite? Yeah. So they have Kristaps and then they have Luka. They always have these, foreign overseas European guys that are just dominant players, and I like that. I think that's cool for the sport internationally, like gaining that talent or that viewership internationally. And I think Luka's a great player. I am in the same boat. I don't know much about basketball, but I love watching him. Go for it, Zach.
I just want to throw out a bold prediction right here. This is right now, today, May 24th, 2021. If the Miami Heat do not re-sign Goran Dragic this offseason, he is signing with the Dallas Mavericks. That is my projection. I think he has a good relationship with Luka. I think he would strive in that offense off the bench with that team. That would be dangerous. That would be a solid pickup for them. I don't see why he wouldn't go there. I don't see why they wouldn't take him. And that's only if the Heat don't re-sign him, because the Heat, I know, love him, but he's an expensive piece.
Yeah, and a guy like Dragic, he seems like, from what I've seen, he can just kind of do it all, like almost like a facilitator. Seems like a great teammate on the court with getting things done. I saw your tweets about him from Saturday's game being an underrated player in the league. Close game there for them in the first game, losing by 2, 109, 107 was it? 10.
I can't remember the score exactly. We lost by 2 points, and it was hard.
109, 107 in overtime. So that'll be a close series. We'll get to that. Jacob, what about you with the Clippers Mavericks? Who are you taking in this one? What are your thoughts?
No, I definitely like the Mavericks. I like, just like Zach said, I love Luka, and I think there was that one play against Patrick Beverley that he was guarding him, and Luka just kind of roared at him. It's like, if we can see Luka really take on that aggressive, like, I don't want to say villain type persona, but just someone that's like, not as squeaky clean is not even the best way to say it. But if he really starts to get like the Mamba mentality with his skill set and what he can do, like that'd be scary because Kristaps is there. He's not what Kristaps has been. So Luka's definitely the one leading this team. And, the Clippers have their own star power, but like you guys were talking about, it's never really seemed to be a true threat in the West right now. Luka, if he could just take over, I love Luka, and I don't see why you would ever go against him. He's just great superstar for the future.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Dallas here as well. We both have Utah, Dallas. All three of us have Utah, Dallas advancing. The 3-6 matchup. Portland wins game 1, the third straight upset in the West. 6-3, which to the casual basketball fan, they might think these seeds are reversed. I think for a long time, people have viewed Portland as being one of the better teams in the West, so the 6 seed doesn't really match them well. You would think they might be the 3 seed, but Denver, they have their own dominance on their end with the perennial MVP, or potential MVP, presumed MVP, whatever the word is, Nikola Jokic there in Denver. Is this going to be a situation where Jokic is just going to have to carry this team past a 3-point shooting Portland team? Is that pretty much what the series is going to be?
Yeah, Denver got screwed with that Jamal Murray injury, man. I think that team had a very strong chance of making it out of the West after acquiring Aaron Gordon from Jacobs Orlando Magic. But the NBA right now, I don't think you can win with just like a center. Like you can't win with the big man only. That's what I say it in the East. I don't see the Sixers doing it because they got Ben Simmons, but the man can't shoot. The man doesn't shoot. If Tobias Harris plays the way he did, then we got a different story on our hands. But I don't see Tobias Harris playing that well the whole series. But back to the Nuggets and Portland, another series that I'm going to have to go with the underdog here and go with Portland. I like them. I like what they're doing. I like their rotation. The CJ and Damian Lillard together, one of the best backcourts. It's so much fun to watch them. And then you add come on, Carmelo Anthony back playing, getting booed by Denver, just drilling 18 points. I'm going Portland.
And I'll give my thoughts on this real quick because this is actually one that I'm interested in, just because I feel like the style of play from the superstars in this matchup are almost extreme opposites. It's a 7-game series, and for every bucket Jokic gets by the basket, 2 points. Lillard, whoever can go down and get 3 points just like that. So it almost is like Jokic's strength is always going to be 1 point shy of the Trailblazers' strength. And I think the Trailblazer style of play, thinking about it macro size, like Jokic, for him to be effective, he has to go the whole length of the court to the basket every time. That's a lot of running. Whereas you look at guys forwards on or guards on Portland, their court is almost half the size. They go from the 3-point line to the 3-point line. Sometimes they work inside. I feel like when it comes to a stamina side of it, their legs are going to be fresher for longer in this series because they're not running as far. They're staying behind the arc. I think that's going to pay off. I think Denver maybe gets 2 here, but I think Portland wins this in 6 games. I'm just going to say that I think they win it at home in game 6 here. Jacob, what about you, man?
I mean, I agree. I think with Damian Lillard being so great most of the year that CJ McCollum wasn't even playing, and now they got him back, and then even Anthony Simons, as a third guard, he's been playing pretty well. It's like you said, Zach, Jamal Murray would have helped having him. Jokic can make his own fair share of 3-point shots, but I feel like he can dominate games. And when you still have CJ McCollum and Damian Lillard, especially, when it's Dame time, when that time comes and he wants to take over a game, it's almost like Russell Wilson in the NFL, like where it's like you just never want to count him out. That any fourth quarter he can go off and really will his team back into a game. I think the Trailblazers is a 6 seed. I'm going to go with them as well over the Nuggets.
The Nuggets need Michael Porter Jr. to play out of his mind. Like he was drafted as like I think the 14th pick, but it was because he had an injury. He coming out of high school, he was gonna be like a number one guy. So this is his time to shine. He's like one of the top 3 right now for comeback or most improved player of the year. He's averaging like a little less than 20 points a game. So that is somebody that needs to step up for the Magic. Aaron Gordon's going to do his thing. Jokic has to play a little better too. He had 1 assist last game, and he's known as their facilitator. But Michael Porter Jr.'s got to be giving them at least 25 points a game, I think, in this series to make some noise for the Nuggets.
It'll be fun to watch some storylines to follow there, like you mentioned, with Carmelo back in Denver playing some games in his old arena. Let's get to Phoenix, LA Lakers, the other Los Angeles teams here. This will be a fun one. I'm curious about your thoughts on this, Jacob. I want you to go. We talked about LeBron a little bit, but Jacob, overall thoughts on this series?
This is actually, of the entire playoffs, the entire first round, this is my favorite series. And what I said earlier, that anytime the Magic aren't competitive, I root for LeBron. This series is really testing that for me this year because I love Devin Booker. He has always been a guy that's been so great in the NBA, but never gotten that same that same star power around him for some reason. I mean, it's because he played for the Suns. I don't know why I say some reason. And it kind of sucks. Chris Paul got hurt and he came back, but he definitely wasn't playing up to 100%. If AD can step up and then Dennis Schroeder, like if he can play well, like this is a very tough team for the Suns to go against as a 2 seed. But I mean, like I kind of want to see Devin Booker just like maintain like that level of play throughout the series. And if they beat the Lakers, I won't even be upset as a LeBron fan. I kind of want to see Devin Booker's time in the NBA, like take it, few rounds in the playoffs, maybe to a finals. So I want to feel like the Lakers have a great shot because of the way their team's built and the depth and like who they have, LeBron and AD. But I'm almost kind of secretly rooting for Devin Booker and the Suns, and hopefully Chris Paul is healthier. So I'm gonna say Lakers as my head prediction, and I'm gonna just leave it at that, just knowing that Devin Booker and the Suns, I'll be happy if they win.
All right, Zach, what about you, man?
Yeah, man, Jacob, I feel you on that. This is probably my most dreadful scenario that I had because I love Devin Booker, I love DeAndre Ayton, I love Chris Paul. I love what the Suns have been doing, and I feel like they got screwed having to face the Lakers the first round. And I also think the Lakers, they're not in an easy situation either. Like they got 2 of their players coming off of their injuries, and now have to play the Suns that are a tough team. But Jacob, I'm with you, man. Again, we're agreeing on this whole West Side. I have to go with the Lakers beating the Suns this series. I know they lost the first game, but like we've been saying, it is a series. LeBron's get away. He usually does. He's 14-0 in career when it comes to first round series, and I think that's going to continue to 15-0. The guy is really good. His team is really good. The Suns are really good, but I just don't think they're as good.
So y'all are both going Lakers then?
Yeah.
Alrighty. Well, I am actually going to go Phoenix here just because, one, I think they are good enough, and I don't have the affinity for LeBron James simply because I'm not as big of a basketball fan. I know if I was a bigger LeBron James fan, I would likely go Lakers here too because I do think this is a pretty evenly matched up series. I'm going to go Phoenix here just because I've liked pulling for them, so I will kind of take your love for Phoenix and hone it in for myself in a root for Phoenix for your sake, but I'll let you guys pull for the Lakers on your side. So let's get to the Eastern Conference. Philadelphia, Washington. Is there anything here to look at, or is this going to be Philadelphia just taking care of business?
And I'm just going to say it's going to be a fun series. Russell Westbrook, Bradley Beal, superstars. They're going to make it fun. They're going to keep it close in some games, but the 76ers are just too good for them. So I'm going 76ers.
76ers. Yeah. Jacob, what about you, man?
The Sixers have been towards the top of the standings most of the year, and the Wizards were down at the bottom for most of the year. So, like Zach said, they have 2 great superstars in Bradley Beal and Russell Westbrook. But there's a reason they're where they are, and the 76ers have been where they've been. I just think the team and, the organization has just been better this year. It'd be great if it was a good series, but I think 76ers have this series.
I am also going to go Philadelphia. I know Washington in the play-in game, they got out of there, won the play-in game, made it in as an 8 seed. Great for them. I think that's kind of what they were playing for this year. They were off to a slow start. They had a very tough start to the season, and then they actually fought back quite a ways to get to the 8 seed. So if you're looking at the best teams in the last 2 months of the season, Washington is likely up there in the top 15, top 10. But I also think Philadelphia, you got to look at it as a situation where they've been top of the league for the entire season. I think they are just too good. So we'll all go with Philadelphia here. Sorry to those Washington Wizard fans out there. And then let's get into the other the next Eastern Conference matchup, the New York Knicks versus the Atlanta Hawks. And no, this is not a battle for the number 1 pick in the draft. This is actually a matchup in the NBA playoffs, the New York Knicks versus the Atlanta Hawks in New York, MSG. They've been waiting forever for a home playoff game. Zach, we'll kick it off with you. What do you think in this matchup?
Dude, let me just start by saying I wish Richie was here right now with us. That I want to see what his reaction is. Also, watched the game last night between the Knicks and the Hawks. That was something I needed so badly. I hate the Knicks. Hate the Knicks with a passion. I did not them losing, but that environment. Yeah. I missed it. Going from the PGA Championship and seeing Phil Mickelson out there with that crowd to the Madison Square Garden. It was something I needed so badly. People are probably everywhere like, oh, where's the social distancing? Where's the mask? I don't care. That was electric. It was fire. I loved it. But honestly, this is the hardest one for me to pick. The hardest series for me to choose. The Knicks kept up with Atlanta, and I don't think they played that well. The Knicks did, especially their best player. So I think I'm going to go with the New York Knicks to win this series against the Atlanta Hawks. I think Trae Young is going to be able to continue playing really well. I just don't know if his role players will give him as much as they did last night, whereas the Knicks, I think, will get more from Julius Randle. So
yeah.
This series probably going to go to 7, though, and I'm going to go with the Knicks. It's going to be a home game at Madison Square Garden for them, so I think so.
Yeah, I was just about to say a home game in MSG for a Game 7. That would be epic. And then the potential of going up against a beatable team in the Philadelphia Sixers if you get there. I don't know if they would do that. We'll talk about that for a second. But Jacob, what about you, Knicks Hawks?
No, I completely agree with Zach once again. Trae Young had a great game, scored 30-plus points, and they beat the Knicks by 2 on a floater. And Julius Randle, I was just looking at it, had 15 points. We know that's not what Julius Randle is capable of. So I think when he's on his game, I think it's going to be much easier for them to win against the Hawks. I feel like the Hawks, there's a lot more offense overall, but not the same defense, where I feel like the Knicks just had a close one that they lost out. But at the end of the day, I think they're the better team. I could see them winning in maybe like 6 games. I don't want to say this goes to 7. Maybe 6 is that magic number. But I think the Knicks just have the better shot overall as a team rather than Trae Young's heroics every game.
Yeah, and I think to sweep in the NBA, it's tough, especially when it's a 4-5 matchup. 2 young teams, 2 deserving teams of being there. I think it's tough to sweep. So as a Knicks fan, you have to be thinking, okay, we weren't going to sweep them. That's their one game, and their best game beat our middle tier game by 2 points, and that was it. So I think you have to be confident kind of going into the rest of the series, especially if Julius Randle can get going a little bit hotter. We'll all go Knicks here. Shout out to Richie. We'll go Knicks, show him some love. Let's get to Milwaukee, Miami. Zach, I know you have a lot to say, and because of that, we'll start off with Jacob. Milwaukee Bucks versus the Miami Heat. I just want to hear your thoughts before we get to Zach's.
Man, this is a tough one for me just because last year I was like saying, as a Magic fan and watching the Bucks play us so poorly, in my opinion, I was like, man, the Heat probably are going to win this, and they did. And Zach was calling for it, and they won it handedly. And it's like I haven't paid as much close attention to these teams this year to know, is it going to be a repeat? Is there anything with the Bucks that's different? Is there anything with the Heat that's different? Probably going to get the best opinion from Zach here because he's a Heat fan. He knows these things. I want to say this will go the distance because I really like both of these teams. And like when you have people like Jimmy Butler, who's just a straight baller, he's not a great shooter or great this. He's just a baller. He plays basketball and he's great at it. But Giannis is Giannis. Of course, we're always going to have the knock on Giannis that until he gets his 3-point shot, he's going to be able to kind of be, stop. I don't want to say stop, but that style of play with the Bucks can be slowed down in today's NBA. And so I want to lean the Heat just for my boy Zach. But I think this could go either way. It might go 7 games.
Yeah, I think we're Giannis is actually quickly approaching a pivotal point in his career of, does he have the clutch gene? Is he more than just a great player? Is he a superstar as far as being able to carry teams to championships? Chris Middleton hits the game-winning shot in Game 1 over the Heat. Sorry, Zach, I had to bring that up. But I am getting to the point of feeling like Giannis is just that. He's just Giannis. He's a great player. He's just dominant. I think he's got everything you need to be great. But he does feel like he can be held in check considering he doesn't have that 3-point shot. He doesn't have all aspects of the game locked down. He's still working on things. And because of that, I too am going to go with the Miami Heat here because I think they are the more complete team. Even if they aren't the better team, I think that's important. Even if they aren't the better team talent-wise, I think they're the more complete team. And Eric Spoelstra, Zach has said it before, one of the most underrated coaches. I think he's going to know how to stop Giannis and Chris Middleton at the end of the day. So I'll go Miami as well. Zach, let's get to you. I have a feeling I know where this is going, but I want to hear your thoughts.
Yeah. You guys probably know where this is going. A little bit of bias salt in it, but it's okay. I am going, and I'm sticking with my Miami Heat. They have proven time in and time again, especially guys like Jimmy Butler and Bam, that they don't have bad games back to back. They come in, they play hard every game. Both of them had really bad games, Game 1, and we took this team to overtime. Defensively, we're going to be there every game, playing them hard. Giannis will get his 30 points, his 15-plus rebounds against us. We know that. It's just guy. He's literally Shaquille O'Neal that can dribble a little better than him. He doesn't have the shot he doesn't have a shot, so that affects him. But I don't think the Bucks will ever get to that point until they get another solidified like superstar. Chris Middleton, I don't think is that guy. I think he's a solid number 3 in today's NBA, but they need somebody else. I think you're going to see insane game from Jimmy Butler for Game 2. I think this guy. Another bold prediction. I am calling a 30-point triple-double from Jimmy Butler tonight. I'm calling it that I even put some money on it for tonight. I'm hoping this happens. This is another bold prediction, but Jimmy Butler walked off that court last game knowing he was the reason we lost. As much as great as if you look at the stats, he had like 10 rebounds. He had 9 assists. He had like 17 points, but he knows he did not play up to par. He knows his field goal percentage was poor. He played well defensively, but I think he's gonna come out this game and just go off. I think Bam is gonna give us a solid double-double, maybe a 20-10 kind of game, and then our other guys are just gonna be there shooting the 3 like they do. Goran is gonna be Goran. So I think I could see us evening up the series and taking this off to. I think it'll be a game. I think it could go. I think it is going to go to 7 games, which I'm worried about. I would hope it goes to like 6, but yeah, I'm going Heat. Definitely.
I like it. Good insight there. We'll all go with the Miami Heat. I just don't believe in the Milwaukee Bucks. Brooklyn as a 2 seed versus Boston. Brooklyn pulls away in the second half over Boston, who lost Jaylen Brown late in the season. A big loss for Boston. I think that would have been a lot more fun of a series if they had him. Who knows if Boston even would have been the 7 seed if they still had Jaylen Brown. Let's get into that one, Zach. We'll start with you, Brooklyn, Boston, and we'll move quickly here. I know you got a game to start watching here soon, Zach.
Oh, yeah. So just real quick, I think Brooklyn I have coming out East this year. I know that's crazy. I'm a huge Heat fan. I do. The Heat are going to have to face them in the second round if we come out and beat Milwaukee. The Nets, I think, are just insanely talented, insanely good. Don't see them really losing. It's unfortunate for the Celtics, but you know what? That's what you get for being Boston. So sucks for them. Yeah, I'm going Brooklyn. I think this is going in 4 games, and I don't even think it's going to be close.
I like it. I like it straight up. Jacob, what about you?
I agree with Zach, and just to help anyone watching this understand, the Celtics lost by 11 points, right? And if you look at Brooklyn's stats from that first game, I mean, their trio had great games, but they all shot a combined 5 for 24 from 3. That's not going to happen every game. The team itself was 23%, I think, from 3 and like 40-some percent from the field. They didn't shoot great at all, and they still won by 11 points. So I think, like Zach said, this is going to just be out of hand, and it's going to be an easy series to probably pick. It's a lot of people's Eastern Conference champion, and it has been since Kevin Durant, and they got James Harden. So it's like I think it's going to be an easy series, probably one of the easier ones for me.
I am also going to go with Brooklyn. I do think this is the easiest series to pick, right up there with Philadelphia, Washington. Actually, yeah, all the ones on the West, I was kind of like tough, like difficult, but the Eastern side with Brooklyn, I feel confident in that one. I'm going to go Brooklyn. Let's do, we've talked a lot about the teams and the players. Let's go to the next round and do our, storyline coming out of round 2, the team you think is going to win. We'll start with Zach. You have Utah, Dallas in round 2, that top left quadrant of the Western Conference. Who do you like in that matchup?
Utah, Dallas. I'm assuming Utah's going to have Donovan Mitchell back. So I'm going to go Utah. When they have Donovan Mitchell on their full squad, they're a really good team. Definitely going to go Utah there.
I like it. Jacob, what about you? Utah versus Dallas.
I kind of agree with that just because I love Luka, but Utah as a team has been very good. The Clippers, like we said, have just been kind of underwhelming, but Utah altogether is a very solid team. They've been at the top for just about the whole damn year. So,
yeah, I think this is Utah's year as far as making it far. It doesn't look like they have many holes that are gonna have them be a letdown like other teams do. They've been pretty good. They've got great complementary pieces as well, which is always necessary. And getting Donovan Mitchell back is going to be huge anytime you can get a superstar back in your lineup. We got Portland versus Phoenix now. Trailblazers versus the Suns. Zach, I have the game on behind me just in case you wanted to watch a little bit, but Portland versus Phoenix in round 2. Jacob, we'll start with you.
Oh, so you have
Portland versus Lakers for you. Excuse me. Portland Lakers, what do you got?
That's going to be another great matchup of like stars, but I think if I have the Lakers getting out the first round, I feel like they've picked up their momentum and they'll also get past the Trailblazers in the second round.
All right, we're going Lakers there for Jacob. And Zach, what about you? Portland versus Lakers.
Lakers, 5 games. I think their toughest match. I think that'll be an easier match for them than Phoenix.
Wow. Okay. So Lakers over Portland. Yeah, I feel like Portland is like poor man's Phoenix right now. They have the talent, but I feel like Phoenix is obviously the more dominant team, which is why I went with Phoenix over the Lakers in round 1. I am going to go with Phoenix to win in round 2 as well. As much as I do like the 3-ball and the style of play from Portland, I am going to go with Phoenix to advance against Utah. You both have Utah versus the Lakers. Let's go to the Eastern side. Philadelphia, the 1 seed versus the 4 seed Knicks. And Zach, we'll start with you on this one.
Philly versus the Knicks. Yeah, I'm going to go Philly here. Okay. Philly, I do think they have the firepower to beat the Knicks. I think the Knicks are just too young, not their year.
Yeah.
And Jacob, what about you?
I was gonna say, like, Julius Randle's great, and going against Joel Embiid, but then the other pieces that Philly has, like you mentioned, Tobias Harris, very good player. It's like their overall firepower, as Zach just said, outweighs the young Knicks roster. See, Knicks versus Hawks, they're both young, they're both pretty fresh. I go Knicks, but now we're talking about Philly. That's a consistent contender, so Philly is going to be my pick as well.
Yeah, the Knicks, they kind of have that aura around them of being kind of like the sweetheart right now, as weird as that sounds. Like they're the young team. They have the talent, but they're not quite there yet. But maybe 3 years from now, they'll be that next big thing for the NBA. I'm going to go with Philadelphia here as well. It's difficult for me to pick Philadelphia. If it was a similar feeling in this matchup into hockey, I maybe would have leaned with the underdog, because I think hockey, we've seen it with Winnipeg right now, 3-0 on the Oilers. But I think in the NBA, the better team ultimately does end up coming out victorious. I'm going to go with Philadelphia for that reason, and I would likely go 6 games in that. I think the Knicks actually hold tough there for a little bit. They've shown signs of being not a team really to just walk over. We have Miami versus Brooklyn in the next one. Jacob, we will start with you. Miami, Brooklyn, if a 6 versus 2 matchup.
I'll tell you this much. I would root for the Heat in that series, but my prediction will be that the Nets beat the Heat in that series, as they are a very strong team with not only a great trio, but like superstar player trio. So I would hope that the Heat give them a great shot, but I just think the Nets have such a great team right now. So that's my pick.
All right, we're going Nets here for Jacob, and then Zach, what about you, man?
Man, this hurts. This hurts so much. I really want to just say the Miami Heat over the Nets.
Then do it. Go ahead, say it. That way, when it happens,
baby, we're winning. We're beating the Nets 7 games. We got the firepower to stop those guys too. Let's go. Let's go, Heat.
All right. We got a big upset in the second round. I'm going to go Brooklyn there in that one, but Zach takes the Miami Heat. I think the star power for Brooklyn is just phenomenal. In its playoff basketball, I think they're going to be healthy. But again,
we're talking about the finals, the representative from the Eastern Conference last year versus a team that's pretty fresh together. So
yeah, this might be the best second round matchup as far as superstars on the court, and I guess competitiveness would be one way to look at it. But all right, so the finals on the Western side, we have Utah versus LA for Zach. What do you got, man?
Ooh, I'm going LA. LA.
LA to the finals.
Had them since day one in the finals. They're gonna have a tough road ahead of them, but they could do it easy money.
Yeah.
All right, Lakers over the Jazz, which I like that pick. The Jazz, like, it's just an easy team to pick against. It's not that they're young. It's just the Lakers have so much experience and so much firepower. Jacob, let's go with you. Utah versus the Lakers.
No, yeah, it's the same for me, because Utah's great team, been at the top of the standings all year. This is not a normal 7 seed, and this is a team that was there last year in the finals, and they have a player that's been in the finals just about every year of the last decade almost. Actually, he has been, I think, right, 9 straight or something like that. And so it's like that experience and that roster depth will just, help them. And when you have LeBron James, who, when it gets to that time of year and he really needs to put it on the line, he'll put it on the line and get there, no matter what little flopping you think he does. He will will his team to the finals, I think.
There you go. I want to see the Lakers get there. I know the NBA wants to see the Lakers get there as well. I think they would love to see the Lakers versus Brooklyn in the finals. I think that would be awesome TV, and the NBA would just be salivating over that. I'm going to go with Utah over Phoenix. I know it's cliche taking the 1 seed, but getting Donovan Mitchell back, I think they just take care of business against the Suns. They've been up by the top all year. They haven't really dealt with many injuries. They've just been a great team, good 3-ball team as well. I'm going to go Utah over Phoenix. And we'll go with Jacob starting off the Eastern Conference, Philadelphia versus Brooklyn in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Man, that's going to be a good one, because you feel like the 76ers have been trying to get there, They've been trying to get there, and here they come. But then Kevin Durant, James Harden, and Kyrie Irving, that's too juicy to pick against. I'm going to go with the Nets in that situation.
I like it. All right, so we got Nets versus Lakers for you. Let's get to Zach real quick. Sixers versus the Miami Heat in the Eastern Conference Finals. Who you going with?
Oh man, dude. If I pick the Heat against the Nets, obviously I'm picking them against the 76ers. Let's go, baby. It's gonna be a rematch in the finals. Heat Lakers.
I like it. Okay, back-to-back matchups. 2 years in a row, Heat Lakers. This time, no bubble needed. I'm going to go Brooklyn over Philadelphia in this one for a Utah-Brooklyn finals, which does not get me excited at all, just to be honest, but it'll be a final nonetheless. Jacob, we'll start with you. Maybe the most realistic finals prediction we have right now. Lakers,
also the easy one.
Lakers versus Brooklyn. The battle of all the superstars. It's almost like the Eastern Conference All-Stars versus the Western Conference All-Stars. Lakers versus Brooklyn in the finals. Who you got?
It's funny because it's like there's some history with the players on these teams, at least like minus like AD, but like LeBron and Kyrie, LeBron versus KD, we have, and now you add James Harden in. So it's like that, if that's the matchup, that's going to be an amazing matchup to see. And I hope it's not, hope it doesn't underwhelm. And like I said, I always want to go for LeBron James. So it's like, will we see this trio versus AD and LeBron, basically? I want to say the Nets. Oh, do I want to say the Nets? I want to say the Lakers, like my heart, but I'm gonna go ahead and pick the Nets. And I say the Nets will win the championship this year against the Lakers.
I like it. Nets over Lakers. Zach, who do you got? Miami versus LA for you.
I just want to point out, I'm sending the Heat to the finals right now, and we're absolutely getting destroyed currently by the Bucks.
That's not real.
Destroyed.
What is it? 19-4.
Yeah, it's not even close right now. But I've sent them this far, right? Why are we stopping? We have Goran Dragic in this time. We should have beat them last year if we had them. We're beating the damn Lakers this year. We're doing it. We're bringing number 4 back to Miami.
Four back to Miami. Jimmy Butler winning the championship this time around for
so
Miami.
Essentially, me and Zach are saying the Heat and the Nets face each other. The winner of that series is winning the championship. That between me and Zach, that's what we've come down to.
That's big time.
Absolutely.
Well, it'll be a fun series to watch for sure in the second round there. I'm going to go with Brooklyn over Utah. I think Brooklyn just is too much. They put these superstars together for a reason. They're just too dominant. They've been the best player on their team for a long time, on their respective teams previously. They've done some great things in this league over their careers, and now it's time for Brooklyn to hang a banner, a championship in 2021 for the NBA Finals. First season coming back from COVID, from bubble season. We'll take the Nets over the Utah Jazz in this one. Guys, anything else from you all before we sign off this evening?
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, as you kind of said, the Nets as well. Like, my heart's thinking, like, man, why did I not pick the Lakers? But it's like, I think the reason I want the Lakers to win more so is less about the Lakers winning LeBron. I want that argument between like Michael and LeBron to be swayed back and like people like me and Zach's, side of the ring. I feel like LeBron's the best player, and it's like sad that I have to hope he just wins every year for people to even get that in their head that this man is amazing at everything you've ever seen a basketball player try to do on the court. And it's like, if he doesn't win, it's like, oh, then yeah, see Michael's, God, it's so stupid.
I think Lakers' toughest matchup, other than what will be in the finals if they make it, is that first round against the Suns. If they get past the Suns, they beat the Suns for round one, or this would be their journey. They beat Steph Curry in the play-in. They beat the Suns as an underdog. They would beat probably either Portland or Denver, and then beat Utah or whatever other team is over there, and then to beat the Nets, if that's who they end up playing in the finals. that would have to, like, then people have to start opening their eyes and being like, yo, because the Nets team right now is probably one of the greatest teams ever assembled offensively.
Yeah.
That offense, like, I don't even care. People like say, "Oh, James Harden doesn't play defense." The guy plays defense. He plays good enough defense. It's not superstar defense. He's not going to be all NBA defensively, but
it's like when you get what you get from him offensively, you can't ask him to put so much effort on defense, because then his offense, can't be as great if he's wearing away energy trying to play superstar level defense. So it's like, take what you have from James Harden and forget about whether he's an amazing defender.
Well, maybe we'll see what LeBron does this playoffs, and we'll have that Michael Jordan LeBron debate on the podcast after the finals happen. My 2 cents on it are people that aren't seeing the light on LeBron are just trying to preserve the era of basketball that Michael Jordan played in, and they don't want to, adapt to the fact that there's a more dominant player on the planet. They want to think that they have a leg up on the millennials, that they got to watch the greatest player of all time by their terms. So that's my 2 cents on it. But guys, nothing else from me, nothing else from you guys. I appreciate you being here. Zach, enjoy this game. Hopefully your team comes back. Hopefully when people are listening to this, the Miami Heat have tied the series 1-1 against the Bucks, but we will see what happens. But until next time, everyone, go enjoy some basketball. Oh, Zach, go for it. You got one more thing?
I was just going to say, go Marlins, go Heat, and go Panthers, baby.
Oh, no. Well, hopefully I'm waking up tomorrow with a series victory over the Panthers for my Lightning, but it'll be a good game tonight down there in Sunrise, so we'll see how that goes. But as I said, go watch some basketball, go watch some hockey, and as always, go make this world a better place. Until next time, Pooj Crew, take care. Thanks.
How can I be the man when you're the man? How can I be the man when you're the man? How can I be the man when you're the man?